Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk all things finance. And today I've got a video for you. It's really for a beginner, how to read stock quotes using Yahoo Finance. We're going to get into all the details, so stick around the next 7, 8, 10 minutes. You'll learn everything, all the fundamentals, what all of these numbers mean when you call up your favorite stock in Yahoo Finance, okay? So let's get into it. All right, so on the page in front of me, I just have the home page for Yahoo Finance. I've just put it in my browser and searched on Yahoo Finance, and this is the default page that's come up. I'm actually in Canada at the moment on vacation, still wanted to get a video out, so you can see some of it is defaulted into some of the news here in Canada, but Yahoo Finance is quite useful. So it's definitely a good resource to use when you're looking at stocks and just want to get some idea on some market news and things that are going on. So on the home page here, if you just go up to the top where it says search for news in the search bar, and you just type in the company name that you want to do, or if you know the ticker, which is typically a 4-letter symbol depending on the exchange that you're on, then the stock quote will come up. So I'm just going to go with NVIDIA. Why not? It's very popular at the moment. So NVDA is the ticker for NVIDIA. I just put that in and hit enter on my keyboard, and here we are. We get brought to the Yahoo Finance page for NVIDIA. So I thought we'd just go right through absolute basics here on what all of this stuff means for anyone who's completely new to this. I just want to really bring this down to the really layperson's terms here. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got NVIDIA, and then we can see here that it trades on NASDAQ, and then also we can see that we've got a real-time price. The market is actually closed right now, and the currency is in US dollars, all pretty self-explanatory. Then we have the price here. If the market was open, this would be moving. But this is actually the last price at the close of the main session at 4 o'clock New York time. Now, you may not be aware, but stocks actually trade a lot longer than the main session. So the main session is from 9:30 to 4 o'clock New York time. But there's actually a pre-market session that starts, I think, at 4 a.m. even New York time. And then there's a post-market session, which happens after 4 p.m. for a couple of hours. Okay, so you got pre-market, main session, and post-market. A lot of brokers will actually give you access, in addition to the main session, to the pre-market and the post-market. It can be really useful, particularly around earnings releases. So NVIDIA released their earnings on Tuesday after the market. The stock moved. And if you're wondering why the stock moved after the market closed, well, because post-market it was still trading. But one thing to keep in mind, there's a lot less people who were trading at that time or buying stock. So the liquidity, or just the number of shares that are trading at the time, is a lot lower. So you can see actually bigger moves or more exaggerated moves. But pre-market and post-market are there for you if you're interested in. You can see actually it's still trading right now. It just moved a little bit in the after hours. But as you can see, it's not moving that much, and that's because a lot less people are trading right now. So they're off doing other things. So that was the close in the main session as of 4 o'clock, and then this is the after hours trading here. You can see it's down a little bit, but was up 1.51% in the main session. So we'll go through the summary here, because I think, to be fair, you'll get quite a lot of information, and this is just a beginner's tutorial on how to read this stuff, okay? So the previous close, so this would have been previous to today's session. It closed at 117.59, and then it opened up today at 119.48, so just $119.48. Okay, now we get into the bid and the ask here. The bid is 119.21 times 400. 400 is just the number of shares. It's not 400 shares, it'd be like 400,000. Now, what is the bid? The bid is simply the highest price somebody is willing to pay. Okay, so when the market closed, the closing bid, the highest price someone was willing to pay at that time was 119.21. Then you have the ask, which is sometimes referred to as the offer as well, but here it's the ask, okay? And the ask is the lowest price that somebody's willing to sell their shares for, and that came in at 119.60 times 100,000 shares. So you can see there's a difference between the bid and the ask, or the bid and the offer there. And just so you know, that difference is known as the spread. And that is the market spread, the difference between these two, which is around 40 cents. Okay, so that's what the bid is. Highest price someone's willing to pay. The ask is the lowest price someone's willing to sell. Then you have the days range, and that is just the prices, the high and the low for the day. So it traded at 117 122 for the low and 121.75 for the high of the day. Okay, so it closed actually just slightly below the high of the day. The 52-week range, that's the price it traded at for the low over the last 52 weeks and the high for the last 52 weeks. So as you can see, it's about $20 less than its 52-week high. Okay. Then we have the volume, and this is just the number of shares that traded today. So 332 million shares traded on NVIDIA today. The average in any given day for NVIDIA is 352 million. So as you can see today, the number of shares that traded was just slightly below the average. No big deal, nothing significant. Okay. If the stock price had moved a lot, 5, 6, 7, 8%, for example, and the volume was quite high, that tells you there's a lot of strength behind that move because the number of shares was a lot higher than the average number of shares. Okay, and vice versa. If the stock sold off a lot and the volume on the day is a lot more than the average volume, then you know that there's a lot of strength behind that sell. Okay, if we come up here, we've got the market cap, and the market cap is just short for market capitalization. And what that is telling you, it's really the value of the company right now. Okay, and you can see it's 2.928 T for trillion, because the market cap or the value of NVIDIA right now is actually in trillions. It's just shy of 3 trillion. If you saw a B there, it would be billion, and M there would be a million for a smaller company. The market cap, like I said, just being the size of the company. To get that, it's just the number of shares outstanding times the actual share price. So the value of the company will move as the share price does. Right? But if you multiply those shares outstanding times the actual share price, that gets you the market capitalization of the company. That's what it's worth today, based on this close of $119.37. Okay. The beta, this is a little bit more sophisticated knowledge. All this really means is how volatile the stock is in relation to the underlying market. So if it's at 1, it moves exactly the same as the NASDAQ in terms of volatility. If it's above 1, as it is here, 1.68, it means NVIDIA stock is a little bit more volatile than the actual at NASDAQ stock exchange is. And if it was below 1, it would mean it's less volatile. Okay, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. The PE ratio, TTM, just stands for the trailing 12 months, and the price earnings ratio is a valuation metric, and as you can see right now it's at 56. So what that's saying is, if you took the amount of money NVIDIA earns on a per share basis, so their net income divided by the number of shares outstanding, you would get their earnings per share, which is the next number down here, earnings per share. Okay, so they earn $2.13, or they have earned $2.13 over the previous 12 months. Okay, if you multiply that $2.13 by 56.04, you will get the stock price of $119.37. So it's the multiple of their earnings per share. They earn $2.13 and the stock trades at $119. So it's 56 times the price earnings ratio. So to give you an example, the S&P 500 tends to be at the moment around 20, 21, or 22. NVIDIA has got a much higher valuation at 56, a lot more than the S&P. And that's because people will expect that their revenues are going to continue to grow as much as they have done. Whether they will or not, who knows? But that's what that is. So the lower the PE ratio basically means the cheaper the stock is. The next earnings date, just to recap, earnings per share is really just the amount of net income that the company has divided by the number of shares outstanding, and then that's how much money they earn on a per share basis. So in this case, $2.13. Okay, then we have the earnings date. So they just released their earnings a couple of days ago, and the next projected earnings date will be between November 19th and November 25th. We don't know the exact date yet. Then we have the forward dividend and the yield. So the yield is just like a company will pay a dividend. So when they have their net income or their profits, a lot of that they'll reinvest in the business, but sometimes they'll reward shareholders by paying them a dividend, and they'll just give you money for the fact that you're a shareholder, and you can take that money and do what you want with. And it's typically expressed in, cents, how much cents per share they will pay you, and then what that is in percentage terms. So to get that number of 0.03%, it's just the amount of the dividend, 4 cents, divided by the actual share price of $119.37, and that will give you this 0.03%. Simple example, if the stock was trading at $100 and they paid $1 dividend, then the dividend yield would be 1%. Simple as that, really. Okay. The ex-dividend date, you need to hold the shares or buy the shares the day before this date to qualify for the next dividend. So it's just telling you that. And then the 1 year target estimate, that is just based on analysts, where they think the share price is going. The 1 year target estimate is $142. Honestly, I wouldn't pay too much stock into that. I wouldn't pay loads of attention. Analysts, a lot of times they don't get this right. Okay. And then you have the chart. I use the charts a lot, particularly the year to date, to see what it's done. As you can see, it's gone up quite a lot year to date. And then there we have the 5 years where it's absolutely gone up a load. And then look at the max. It goes all the way back to 99 here, and you can just see how much that stock has gone up. So there's the chart. So that is the real fundamentals on the summary of NVIDIA Corporation using Yahoo Finance. There's loads more information there. Not really for the purposes of this video, but you can open up a chart and do a lot more with it. You can have comparisons against, other stocks or markets. Conversations, this is just chat. I wouldn't pay too much attention, to be fair, but doesn't hurt to dip in and out. Some stats, you'll just get some other ratios. I may do another video where I go into further detail. There's a lot of stuff in here, as you can see. I do like to look at the profit margins, the return on equity and return on assets. This is just when the company, invests their money, what's the return that they're getting on? And these are phenomenal numbers. Anything really in double digits, about 10% is great. Look at the numbers here that NVIDIA is doing at the moment. But there's loads of information here. So I think probably another time I'll do a video in further detail on this. I just wanted to get a quick one out here while I'm away on vacation. So there you have it. The summary of Yahoo Finance, the basics of the stock information. Let me know what you thought of the video. Beginner's tutorial, how to read the stock quotes. If you enjoyed that, please subscribe to my channel. I'm a new channel just getting started out with all of this, so hit the subscribe button if you like what you saw and you want to see more. Like, share if there's someone else you think that would benefit from this. And leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought of the video and maybe anything else that you would like to see in my videos. I'm happy to cover it. I've been doing this for 20 years, got loads of experience in it. I've seen client accounts, hundreds if not thousands of client accounts and their trading strategies, buy and hold, active investors, the whole bit. So just let me know your thoughts if there's anything you want to see. And as always, I wish you all the best in your investing and your financial aspirations, and I hope you have a great one.